Love to bring him on, and not just Cowboy talk, because last week you had a game which had so many storylines. You had the Dolphins, Tua the hot streak, and this unbelievable, immovable force called the Niners defense. So Garoppolo gets hurt. Here comes Brock Purdy. You knew a little bit about Purdy and his background, and I'm watching him in that game, and I'm thinking, Moose, he didn't take any number one snaps all week. This is pretty good. You knew a little bit about his backstory. Tell that.
Yeah, it was funny because we had San Francisco in the opener against Chicago. So we kind of followed them all the way through training camp. And I remember it came down to a decision who's going to be our third quarterback. And the organization decided to go with Brock Purdy over Nate Sudfeld, who they'd given a signing bonus to. So obviously he was somebody that felt very comfortable with. And I think the great thing about this was the number two quarterback, number three moving up to number two, always says, I'm just one snap away. And I prepare during the course of the week for that. And it's something that we hear that kind of becomes cliche. But when you watch a guy go out and take advantage of that opportunity the way that Brock Purdy did, it's just so fun for us to watch.
Yeah.
And he did a tremendous job. And here's another one. So Joe Davis is very familiar with Brock Purdy when he was doing college football at Iowa State. He texts Matt Campbell as he's coming onto the field, and he's having a dialogue with Matt Campbell, and they're going back and forth.
Yeah.
So he was able to bring some really, really good information directly from Brock Purdy's head coach there at Iowa State.
Yeah, and should be noted, if you watch Brock Purdy in college, one thing he does well, super accurate. 68% in college, 67% Sunday. He may be small, but the kid can distribute the football, and Kyle Shanahan loves that. Now, Tua is interesting. He'd had a great year. But I felt he got, in golf they call it the yips, when you can't. And I felt early in that game, Daryl, I felt he could feel that rush. I mean, he's had some injuries. I totally get it. But I felt he was a little unnerved by it, that pass rush. That's what I felt. Did you see any of that?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to go the other way. I'm not going to say it was the rush that got to him. I'm going to say it was the moment that got to him. This is a guy who, the first couple of years of his career is just kind of, kicked around. We did him 4 times last year post-Halloween, and we were right there during the trade deadline. And all the Deshaun Watson talk and everything that's going on, and you sit down to talk to him. I felt bad for him. They had really kind of broken his spirit a little bit there. The gentleman that I met with last Thursday getting ready for this game was completely different than the two that I met last season. So I was just excited to see that passion back, the love of the game back. And I think just all that emotion, he's got Mike McDaniel who believes in him. He's got somebody that believes in him for the first time in a while. I think all that emotion just got him all juiced up for that game. I think it was more the adrenaline than feeling the rush, because he's really good. He's very subtle in his movements inside the pocket, and he can navigate it well. I will credit a little bit to San Francisco's linebackers. I talked about them during the game, and when I watched the game on the way home on Monday, they were even better than I remember doing it live. They were getting depth that I don't think other people were getting against Miami, and they were really kind of taking away some of those windows that I think Tua had gotten comfortable throwing. So I'm going to give a little bit of credit to that Niners linebacker group as well.
Yeah, boy, Fred Warner has just been an unbelievable pro. He is so fast. One of the things I love about pro sports, I make predictions. Quarterbacks coming out of college. It's fun. I take a side. I would have never guessed that Jalen Hurts would be this good. I am shocked. And the first Jalen Hurts I saw, I thought, okay, that's what I saw. Limited as a thrower, going to be, he'll make plays. I watched him against the Vikings and the Titans. He's a monster. He's a machine. He's getting, like Josh Allen. He's made a huge leap year 2 to 3, a massive leap. You have the Eagles-Giants this week. When you look at film, are you surprised a little by it?
I am. And then we get all the information, so we get to read. And I had him, I think it was 2020. I don't even think I had him last year. I think we're going all the way back to the end of 2020. The one thing he had is he had that intangible around him. All the guys loved him. Loved playing for him, loved playing side by side with him. Was he a great passer then? No, he had a lot of work to do. That was a concerted effort this year in the offseason, was Jalen Hurts going out to California, working with a coach, getting better. It was an emphasis by the organization too. not just for you to go get better, but guess what we're going to do? We're going to bring some guys in around you that are going to help you get better. And A.J. Brown has just been unbelievable for the offense. What they can do, the thing that's scary about Philadelphia is what you want to be able to do is win in a number of different ways. And already through the course of the season, they've shown multiple ways where they can win a game. I mean, when you go back-to-back games where you go 350-plus rush, 350-plus pass, what are you going to do as a defense to stop this offense? That's the scary thing about Philadelphia. You're going to work all week long. You're going to look at the matchups. You're going to come to Sunday. We're going to kick off. The game's going to unfold, and they've got a lot of solutions to however that game is going to roll out. And that's the scary thing about him. But I give Jalen Hurts a ton of credit. He really focused on it. Coach Sirianni, obviously talking to him about where we need to get better. And I'm going to bring guys around that are going to help you through this process. So that's the big thing. And then what they did on the defensive side of the ball, this is a really good team. I thought they were going to be good. I thought they were the team that would challenge Dallas for the NFC East. I liked what they did on the defensive side in free agency. They're better down in the trenches than Dallas is on both sides of the ball. And I thought they'd be good, but I didn't think they'd be this good.
So they play the Giants, and I made this comment. I made it a few times that sometimes we don't understand how great the greats are. I mean, people for 15, 20 years game planned against either a Kobe Bryant or a Michael Jordan or a Larry Bird or a Peyton Manning, and they still couldn't stop him. They got all the focus. So what makes Mahomes amazing, his best months are like November, December, January, right? When you have the most film on him, he's even better. If you got a guy that is probably not elite, the more film you get, the more vulnerable he is. And I look at the Giants and I think, okay, Daboll comes in, Moose. He brings his system. They start the season 6-1. Now everybody's got film on him, and they're 1-3-1 in their last 5. And my takeaway is this is what happens at quarterback when everybody's got film on Mahomes. He's impossible virtually to beat later in a year. And I look at the Giants and I think to myself, if Jalen Hurts goes out and just looks spectacular, do you think the Giants deep down know that maybe they have to make a move at quarterback?
It's going to be hard for him. You made some really, really good points. The start of the season, I think everybody was excited to see Daniel Jones have somebody behind him that believed in him. Everything we just said about Tua, you can probably take that, and it's very similar to what Brian Daboll has brought to the Giants with Daniel Jones. I agree. I agree that the more you get comfortable with seeing how Mike Kafka and Brian Daboll are going to use him in this offense, the easier it is to defend him.
Yeah.
I still think you need to allow him to run. And this is something that I talked to Jason Garrett about when he was the offensive coordinator with the Giants, is we didn't run him enough. We didn't utilize his skill set that he brings as a mobile quarterback enough in our offense. And I think sometimes you worry so much about the injury that's going to happen. You have to trust them to be smart. Here's the difference I've seen this year. The two guys that have really kind of had phenomenal years, playing quarterback, what Justin Fields has brought to that Chicago Bears offense since they've turned him loose. He doesn't play the position smart yet. He's still a little bit stubborn. You can see a little bit of Cam Newton in him. He's going to drop the shoulder. He's going to try and run some guys over. That takes its toll at this level. When you watch Jalen Hurts play the quarterback position and he's running, he's just like Russell Wilson. He's very, very smart. He doesn't take the unnecessary hits. Yeah. And I always remember Tony Saragusa, sharing stories, hey, I'm really slow when I go get off that quarterback. I always give him a little push, as I'm getting up. I mean, Tony knew the tricks of the trade to wear down the quarterback during the course of the game, take some of that energy from him. I don't think some of these guys realize how much energy they're expending, and then the subtle ways that the defense can even take a little bit more from them.
Yeah. Finally, Odell Beckham, we got a minute left. Would you sign him if it was $5-6 million would you sign him for 2 years? Most people would sign him for a year. Would you sign him for a couple if you had to? Is he worth it?
For me, I would say no, especially in Dallas, because, they are so far up against the cap. Do they need a little bit of help on the outside? A guy like Odell Beckham coming in and providing that? Sure. the concerns that I think a lot of people would have is it the Odell Beckham from the Giants or is it the Odell Beckham from the Rams?
Yeah.
Obviously it sounds like you're going to get that guy from the Rams that wants an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. That's the ability that he has right now, who he's shopping himself to when you look at Dallas and Buffalo and the teams, the two teams that are there that have an opportunity to win that championship again. There's nothing that's going to burn him more than to get hurt in that game last year and not be able to play a really big role in that game the way that he had started that afternoon. He's going to want to get back out there and get another opportunity to be in that Super Bowl. So which team gives me the best shot? So he's got that luxury. But for Dallas, I don't know if it's going to help them this year. And so if you're looking down the road, I think there's better options when you get into next year. So for me, I would pass on it. But we'll wait and see what happens here.
Well, Moose is the executive VP. That's a big title of the USFL. Second season starts April 15th on Fox. He is a busy, busy guy. And we appreciate you giving us 10 minutes today, Moose. Thank you.
No, my pleasure. Always enjoy coming on, Colin.
You bet. All right, got my theory around the corner. J-Mac, are you ready for it? Are you going to be ready for my big theory?
Very, very excited. Almost as excited I was for that Vermont basketball winner I gave out yesterday.
So yesterday at the end of the show, J-Mac, he likes to gamble, and he's crazy on college basketball. When I first met you, I'd never met anybody that literally bet like Long Island basketball games, Division 6.
Keep it low profile. We don't need
yesterday you gave me a Vermont game.
Yeah. -4.5. I think
it was over in 8 minutes.
Yeah, it was over. Halftime, no sweat.
Who knows?